I started writing songs. Well, I knew I could write songs when I around the age of 9, and that's 44 years ago. When I realized that a song will come into my head, and I will be repeating it over and over, and I'll be like, "Where's this from?" And I used to think maybe it was something I heard somewhere, and then eventually I realized, okay, this is an original song. These are original songs, and you are the one creating them. And it was a very strange, I don't know if for a 9-year-old it was surreal. It was a kind of strange feeling. Okay, so you are writing songs. So I started by the age of 13. Instead of just keeping them in my head, I started writing them down in the book. And so from then on, in my head, I started believing that I was a songwriter and that eventually I will play music and that I will use music to try to as a tool to improve the lives of people around me, to inject some positivity into my society, to help my people find their way to happiness and to progress. And this is what I wanted to do right from there, from that age of 13, when I started writing songs down. I'm going to write positive songs. I'm going to write things that will change people's lives positively. And so then through the years, going to school, becoming a veterinary doctor, working as a veterinary doctor, and then eventually deciding, to become a full-time artist, because I always knew that was my destiny. And then in 1997, I released my first album. It was called 7 Lives. And then we did another one in 1999. And I think that was the one that actually kind of got people to know Beautiful Nubia, because that album had a popular song in it called Babale Dumari. And that one got us noticed. And then, of course, in 2002, we did Jangola Jugu, our third album, which then became made Beautiful Nubia a household name in Nigeria. And so since then, we've just been on this journey. It's been interesting. I'm enjoying it, because don't forget, when I started thinking about music being my path in life, when I started thinking like that, between the ages of 9 and 13, when I had those thoughts, what I wanted to do with music was to use it as a tool for helping my people, for emboldening my people, for strengthening people, for giving people an understanding of the path to happiness, for helping people find their way in life. And so, because those were my goals, it's been very interesting. I've been able to, and I think about how many people whose lives have been touched by my music, whose paths have been straightened by my words. I think it's amazing. It's been a great journey. Well, Habib, I can tell you, and you know yourself, music is a very powerful tool. Very, very powerful tool. Of all the art forms, I could almost tell you that music is, because what music does, it harnesses the powers of the written word and then the power of the visual arts. Everything is in there. And then you have the melody to carry it, to carry the messages. Music is such a powerful tool. Okay, let's take, for example, even just instrumental music that has no words in it. Many of us agree that even instrumental music is a mood changer. You can listen to some music and it just lifts your mind. There's no words in it, no words. It's just instruments playing. And it will take, for example, our traditional music with just drums and agogo and shekere. And they don't have to say anything. The moment you hear, you start dancing. It changes your mood. And you dance, and then all kinds of chemicals are released in your body, and you start feeling euphoric, you start feeling, happy. Have you been to some of those places where people are doing traditional worship and they're just drumming, and some women will just go into trances and everything? Music is such a powerful force. So that is just instrumental music. Now imagine when you put words along with that. And so it shows you how music can be a dangerous tool. Because if you put negative words in music, you can destroy a person. You can destroy a whole community. You can suggest to a person to go and kill other people. You can suggest to a person that his purpose in life is to go and destroy. You can suggest that. Now you can suggest to millions of people that same thing. You can destroy a whole society. You can destroy the whole world. And those who seek power for the purpose of destroying society for their own private gain know the value of that. And so they'll always go and check in history. Anytime you go and check anywhere in the world, they always support that kind of negative music because it enables them to destroy the people, to dumb the people down, to make the people unaware of the things they need to do to improve their lives. They keep them down with that music. It's all organized. It's all a nice setup. And they can use this negative thing to destroy our society, to hold us back, to confuse us, to distract us. So I call a lot of the music that you call pop music, a lot of the pop music that all of us like to say, we are dancing. They are tools of mass distraction. And you can quote me on that. Because I've been saying that for a long time. Yeah. I say, they say they're playing music. I say, but these are tools of mass distraction. My music is a tool of mass sensitization. It is positive message music. I have consciously, constantly put positive words in my music to guide my people, to teach my people, to ennoble my people's minds, to lift our minds, to lift the quality of our thinking, to help us find the path to personal and communal redemption and growth and progress. Music is a very powerful force. Well, the thing is, of course, there's always pressure, and it's been on since right from my first album, 1997. When I took my demos out to the recording, at the time we still had like Sony Music, we had Polygram, we had other companies anyway. And I took my demo that I did at the time, I took it to them. And I remember meeting a gentleman at Sony who is still very much alive, and he's a very lovely man and a very famous man. I don't want to mention his name, but yeah. And I remember he talked to me and said, the music you brought, it's okay. I can tell you have talent, but this music cannot sell in this country. Nigerians love party music. They love music that doesn't have too many words. They don't like very intelligent music. They just want to dance and have a good time. So juju or Fuji or gospel music, any of those three, you will sell. But what you brought, all this intellectual stuff, talking serious, people don't want that. And so, even though he didn't say go and do something else, that's like indirect pressure on you to change what you're doing. And right from that moment, even before I did my first album, right all through all these albums, I've had that pressure. People telling me, you could have more mainstream appeal if you did this. My God, you can write good songs. You wrote that, oh, what a feeling. You should keep doing something like that. Like, yeah, do something like that. But that's not why I came into it. I told you. See, when you have somebody who is an early dream, that's what I like to call it, an early dream. This is a dream from when I was 9 years old. You're not going to change it. Nothing's going to change it. Nobody is going to change it. No pressure is going to change it. Lack of money is not going to change it. Lack of fame is not going to change it. And it's not just that I'm stubborn. It's just the way it is. Because I didn't come to music because I wanted money or fame. I came because I felt music chose me as a vessel to speak to my people. I'm not saying it is true. I'm telling you what I think. And that, because sometimes I have to ask myself, there are so many things I could have been. I'm the kind of person who's a ball of potential. I can be many things. There's nothing I've ever put my finger on that I've not been able to do very well if I really want to do it, because I have that mindset. So you say if I want to become an electrician, I even say now that if I decide to give up music and become like a carpenter, I'm sure I'll be very good at it because I always put my whole soul in things, and I have that creativity and it's just a gift. And so I feel that music chose me as a vessel to do the things that I'm doing. And so what I've done with music, it's kind of like everybody is swimming in one direction like that, and then you are swimming against it, right? But also, it's hard because you're swimming against the tide. So you need to really work hard. And it will appear as if you're not making progress because the water is coming this way. Everybody is following where it's all going. You are going against it. And so you are going to expend a lot of energy. And you might feel like you're going to lose your soul in the process. But also, the other thing I've learned, and there's a saying, it's a very old saying by somebody, that the world makes way, for those who know where they're going. Crowds will make way for you if you know where you're going. And that's the thing, right? So I'm swimming against the tide, but they're making the way for me, and I can just keep going. And as long as I'm not in a hurry, because for me, every person who listens to my music and changes their life is victor. I don't think like, I put a video on YouTube, it's got 1 million views in one day. Great. Views doesn't mean that you impacted anybody learned anything from you. But when somebody writes me, and they do write me all the time, because if you don't get feedback, you might think you're wasting your time. I still got feedback this morning from several people writing and saying, this man's music should be the national anthem of our country. This man's music has changed my life, blah, 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 like that. So for me, this is what keeps me going. And you're asking, one of my songs called Magbagbewa. I said, you cannot feed with vultures and then want to go and sleep with doves. See? So it's like people trying to put vultures and doves together in the same cage when they say, go and collaborate with us. Well, what am I collaborating for? For what? Our energies are not the same. Our intentions are not the same. Our calling is not the same. Our direction of thought is not the same. The way music works in our heads is not the same. I already collaborate anyway with my band, and that's a big band. And I have guitarists and keyboardists and drummers and, hornsmen, singers. I have everybody. I'm collaborating with all those people, So the idea of now stepping out, I find it very strange. Of course, if there's an organic process, say something happens and we need to create a song to help raise money or something, and you bring people together, I'm happy to be part of that kind of thing. But I'm not interested in saying to make money, then go and start doing something that is very, inorganic, something that is very artificial. For me, it will not work. It will not work. I will not be happy there, and the spiritual energy that you are used to getting from me will not be there, because I will not be myself doing that. So to do what I do, it takes a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of inner strength. I don't want to keep using that word spiritual, because people start thinking religious. When I say spiritual, I don't mean anything religious. I just mean it has to come from like the deepest core of you. What I do comes from the deepest core of me. I have to deny myself of so much to do the music I do. And so, I cannot change what I'm doing, because there's a purpose for it, and there's a need for it. And the people whose lives are touched give me feedback. And so that's what keeps me going. I cannot change. I just do it. I think when nature gives you a gift, nature will give you the wherewithal to do it as well. So to carry, to use it, to utilize it. It's a question of whether you now want to listen, because a gift is it's just there. It's a thing, but you have to now use it and build it. You have to own the craft, right? You have to make an effort. You have to make sacrifices to make that personal sacrifices, right? You have to. What I've done with my music over the years is I've put all my energy, I've put all my time, I've put all my whatever money I've ever had, I've put it in this music just to keep it going, And so you have to make those kind of sacrifices. It's not just enough to say you have a gift. Well, I have a gift, yeah. No, you have to put everything in there. And I think part of what comes to the gift, when nature gives you a gift like this, nature probably gives you other things that will help you. So, for example, I've always been a capable leader of people. I don't want to say I'm an excellent leader of people. Some of my band members will say that, but I like to say that at least I'm a capable leader of people, and I'm a natural crisis manager. So I'm pretty good at leading groups and leading teams, and it's just a gift, and I think because what I preach, I do as well. So when I tell you that you have to become more honest, or that you have to embrace honesty, I am doing it actively myself. I am fighting against my own natural tendency to be greedy and selfish. See, these are the things that, it's not just to say, well, don't do this, don't do that. What I do, what I talk about, I also practice. And my band members can see that. And some of them, I've had some of them say it, that this man, he's the kind of person you want to be with because he does what he says. And I'm a fair leader. Like, I don't cheat my band members. I'm pretty generous with them if we have, and when we don't have, I still take care of my band. We don't, I'm not the kind of person who gets paid and then doesn't pay. No, it doesn't work that way. From the outset, I wanted a band of brothers and sisters. I didn't want a band where everybody will be a superstar. Oh, I'm a great guitarist. I'm a great drummer. And then we all stand off. No, I didn't want that. I wanted a band where we would be like a family. And so when we started finding musicians, 1998, 1997, 1998, I had a guy who was a keyboardist. His name is Emmanuel. He lives in the US now. And he officially was the first member of my band. So Emmanuel Omilabu, and he was a keyboardist. And then I asked him, get a few friends. So he got a few friends. And then I got a few people. And then some of the people we brought in brought other people. And that's how we built it. And then by the process of, elimination, we didn't kick anybody out. Some people would just drop out because they didn't like the music or they didn't like my approach, because I like discipline. I like when we say we're going to start a show at 5, I want my band on that stage playing by 5. And if you're not a disciplined person, if you give in too much to your physical desires and all that stuff, and you're too distracted, then you cannot work with me. I like people who are very smart and who are humble, who listen. So because all the things that we preach, if we cannot really display them in our own lives, that music becomes empty. And music, as I've told you before, is a very powerful spiritual force. So you have to kind of devote yourself to it. So over the years, since 1998, when we first had a performance, I think we had the first performance in 1997, like October 97. Since that time, people have been dropping off, new people have been joining. Right now, the oldest member of that band has been with me since 1999, and he's the bassist, Blessing in Obonk, and he's been with me now since 1999, I think. And then there are other guys, who have been there for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. Some have just joined us, So over the years, but we're a supple band of brothers and sisters sometimes, because sometimes we have girls, sometimes we don't have ladies, because the ladies do move, they tend to move on faster than the boys. But everybody who has left us, I don't think there's anyone who left because they were angry. They left because they had greener pastures. Like there's a guy in France now who's a trumpeter who leads his own band in France now. Amazing musician, hugely talented human being, and he's in France doing his own thing now. There's the Emmanuel that I talked about. He's in the US. He lives in the US with his family now. He's still playing his keyboard. There's a guy in the UK who was a saxophonist. I mean, he used to play with us. He leads his own band in London now as well. Doing very well. So, I mean, everyone who's left us, I think they left because they wanted to start their own project, or they wanted to move on abroad, you see. But nobody has left because they're not happy. And they all still love this music. I mean, all these people were still connected. And they're always telling me, I mean, I remember the guy in France, even though he's having so much success with his own music out there. One day he wrote me and said, Doc, you know that your band, I'm still part of the band, though. I'm still there. If you guys ever come to France, we're playing together, So that's the kind of relationship we all have, that kind of brotherly and sister, and that brother-sister relationship. And that's what's been keeping us going. So we make money from, I mean, ideally, as a musician of my kind, I should be making money mainly from the products, right? When I release an album, I should make money from selling it. I should make money from having live concerts. The other things that people do are these endorsements and all those things. Those are extras. Those are different. Some people make the endorsements the main thing, and that I have no problem with that. If that's what you do, a lot of pop musicians, that's their thing. It's there. Do one single, make it big, have a big name, get an endorsement, do whatever or endorsement, work for brands and do this, become spokesman for this and that. It's one. They now try to make it sound like it's the way. No, it's not the way. It's an aside. And of course, he has big money there, but it's an aside. It's not the job of a musician. That's what happens when you become an item, when you become a brand, when you become some, that is a different thing. And so I don't like to count that as, for me as the kind of musician that I am. And I'm pretty, go and check anybody who does the kind of music I play anywhere in the world, even in the US. They are not pop mainstream people. They're not usually people that you do all these endorsements and stuff. They're not this kind of people. So if Nigeria was a better place, a more organized place, a better place, of course, I could have made a fortune from that, even just that one album, Jangbala Jigbo. Yeah. Even just from just one song, I could have made a fortune, which would have bought me maybe a comfortable living. You have a house, you have everything, you are set for life. Many artists all over the world do that. You have one big album, the first big album like that, it makes you. The rest is just, you're just going along now. But because we come from a country where, we sold more than 1 million copies of Jangbala Jigbo ourselves, and it's still selling. But I can't tell you where the money, what was it? We were selling it for 100 naira per CD. I mean, how much are you going to make from that? And even when the money was coming in, we were already giving it out to people, to this and that. Well, and then we had to, of course, because we run our own business. And your banker is my own business. The recording company is my own business. It's because nobody will take my music. I never talked about that. But these are the challenges we face. When I first released, even that Jangbala Jigbo, we were begging marketers. Nobody took it. When Jangbala Jigbo now became a very big album, one of those marketers at the Dumota came and started crying. I wish I had listened. Because they wouldn't take it. So we had to start doing it ourselves. And so when you do it yourself, then of course, even all the profit you make will come back into the business. If you don't do that, the business will collapse. So whatever money I've made has been coming back to this business. We're making money. I mean, we sell our music online. People buy my music online. Every month I get my checks for people selling, the streaming is really bad for us right now. The streaming is, because how much are you making from streaming on Spotify, all these other places? But, people are still downloading from Apple Music. So we still, from iTunes or whatever. So we're still getting a sizable amount of money. Live shows, of course, will make some money there, here and there. So I've told you, if you learn to live within your means, if you've been well raised, you know how to live within your means. You know how to not, what our people will say, don't eat between the 10 fingers. You know how to save some and keep some for. Every year I do a festival. It's called the Anabanka Music Festival. Do you know where do you think I get money for that festival? It's not like a fancy, huge festival, but it's a platform for people to showcase, for young artists to showcase themselves. And every year, and there were some years when I really did it, it was really big, some years. Because those years, I made a lot of money. And my savings, I used it to do the festival. The years that I don't have a lot, we do the festival in a small way. Because most of the money I use for that festival is my money. Once in a while, I have some friends who give us small amounts here and there. But usually, I use my money for it. And so, if you're somebody who has learned how to manage your funds, that's part of being a well-bred person. A well-bred individual, a well-raised person, you know how to live within your means. You learn contentment. You learn how to manage funds, how to manage people, how to relate with people in your environment, that you don't ostracize them or make them feel like they can't work with you. When you have a band, the kind of band that I have, life is easy because we're friends. And whatever I give out as payment, they will accept because they know I'm honest. And I'm very open about it. I don't take anybody's share and add it to mine. And they can see that I struggle financially. And I'm never ashamed to say that. There's nothing wrong about saying you are struggling financially. Struggling financially doesn't mean that I don't have enough to feed myself. I have enough to feed myself, to clothe myself, to house myself. But I don't have enough to do all the great things I would like to do. Like sometimes I want to do 3 albums in a year, but I don't have the money to do that. So I do 1, right? I have people around me who need support. They don't have to be my family. You don't know, when you're a public figure, you don't know that, Habib. But when you're a public figure, the pressure on you by people who want to pay school fees, who need money for hospital care, who need money for their old dependents, who need support in many, many ways. And those things come to you. And you have to decide which ones are more critical that you want to be part of. It is not philanthropy. It is your job. See, because people do all this nonsense foundations that is set up and they say they're doing philanthropy. Philanthropy is such a stupid word. It's not philanthropy, it's your duty. All humans are connected. So when you have more than you need, you spread it out to take care of those around you. And you don't expect them to thank you. My grandmother would say, let us thank the person who needed our help. Because when we supported them, they made us feel more human. We thank the people that we give to because they enriched us. They made us feel useful. They made us feel like our lives have a meaning. So when I have means and I'm able to support others, it makes me so happy. So sometimes that's what the pressure that I have, but the money for me to live my life, to have fun, to live well, to take care of my children, I have that. And, but music, if you're the kind of person who's constantly looking for money and more money and more money, it's not, you cannot do this kind of music. You have to be satisfied with what you get and hope for more. Of course, I'm always working and I'm always looking how we can maximize our profits, how we can raise more money. What can we do? I mean, I've applied to things, so don't think I don't try. I've applied to things, I've reached out to companies for sponsorship and stuff. We don't usually get them. We rarely ever get any support, but we have to carry on and keep doing it the way we think we should do it. You cannot let these pressures drag you down, because nature gave me this gift for a purpose. Nature always provides for me. Well, the first thing is, please go and be listening to my music. Yeah, in listening to it, you may think, oh, he's trying to promote his music. No, that music has not been made. I don't know, I don't care how you get it. If you like, go and borrow it from your friends, whatever. But this music will open our minds. It will open our eyes. It will clarify our path for us. You have to listen to it carefully. You have to listen to it with serious intent. This music will change our lives. This music will show us the way to personal and communal redemption. That's all I've got to say. So anywhere you can find our music, go listen to it and embrace it. Not just listen for fun. Embrace the things that we say in that music. And the things we say, maybe I should say it again, because this is the part that bothers me. All my work with music is a waste if we don't see the change we want to see in Nigeria. If this music is not part of creating that change that we want to see, can we all try? And I'm begging you, you're watching me now, I'm begging all of you, can we try to embrace these values of hard work and honesty and truth? Remember, equity, social justice, humility and patience, and the king of them all. Can we all try in every way to embrace contentment and to teach the young ones that, to teach our children? Those who have children, teach them. Those who haven't had them yet, who are going to have them, please teach them these things. Do not let us be in a hurry that, the change we want to see in Nigeria must happen in 1 year or 2 years. Let us play the long game. The long game. Fix our people. And then in 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, this country will amaze all of us.